Come on into the ditch. I'm your resident ditch witch, Tara Tyne, and we're about to get witchy, whether you like it or not. So today I'm going to be skirting some sheep's wool. Skirting basically means taking all the crap out of it before you wash it, and like I intend to felt it. When I got this wool first, it arrived in the post in 3 bags. I ordered it from Valais Blacknose. They're an awesome Facebook page. It's a sheep farmer not too far away, and he's keeping these Valais Blacknose, which they're very cute. So I was very excited. I mean, I was just sitting on Facebook one night hearing about the plight of sheep farmers who can't get a good price for their fleeces anymore. And I thought back to projects I had done, felt and ditch wool that I found all over the place in the village I used to live in. And I once made a very dodgy attempt at felting that into, I'm not quite sure what. It didn't work out so well. I've always meant to try it again. So when I saw these 3 Valais Blacknose fleeces come up for what I thought was a good price, I said, yeah, let's do it. What could possibly go wrong? So then 3 of these landed in the post. And I thought, oh my god, what have I done? And I looked up about skirting and discovered that it means going around the edges of a sheep fleece, taking out all the bits, like what most people would refer to as shite. What I call free fertilizer / free mulch, but you'll see more about that next week. And you have to take out the free fertilizer and any bits of grass and straw and things like that that aren't going to be good for spinning it or felting it or whatever you want to do. So I got the bags in the post and I opened the first one up, and without even thinking I just bare hand straight in, and it felt damp, and I thought, oh my god, leptospirosis! But it's hopefully not going to come to that. So got my gloves, got my mask, we're going to do some skirting. You can tell that something is a lump of free fertilizer rather than a mat is when you find a clump that parts easily, you know, can be pulled apart by your fingers, you know. Don't pull it too much because you want as much of the fibre intact as possible. But if it pulls apart quite easily, then it's probably just hair, and what you're looking for in sort of the colour is that it would probably just be darker shades of your cream and your white. So it might have gone a little bit yellowish, but a lot of that will come out with washing, so be careful just not to throw out too much wool. And when you find a mat, I haven't actually found one yet, but when you find a mat that won't separate easily, the chances are that's because it's free fertilizer instead. And what you want to do, rather than cutting it out, is to pull it out and you'll see why as you're doing it, because it causes less damage to and less separation between the fibres, which is exactly what you want, especially for the kind of felting project I'm planning on doing. Okay, so that's it. The wool has been skirted. It's ready for felting. Now, usually at this stage, you would wash your wool instead. So that usually involves 1 to 2 gentle washes at about 70 degrees, you know, in a big tub or basin. Some people like to use a mesh bag to kind of keep all the fibres together while they're washing it. But I have been advised, because my fleece is so kind of bitty, in order to help it maintain its integrity for felting, that the best thing to do is to felt it and then wash it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just getting ready now to make the soap that I will use to felt the rug. So what I've got here is some olive oil. I think it's olive oil. It's kind of natural vegetable soap, just very plain. This is really good soap for felting. I'm gonna melt it down, add some oils, reshape it, and leave it overnight, and then it should be ready to use tomorrow when I start felting. For the amount of essential oils I want to put in, like, I feel like this is going to be enough for the rug. I mean, how I know that when I've never made one before in my life, I don't know. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend my essential oils for putting into this soap when I melt it down. So I've got a selection here. This brand, I really love this brand, Atlantic Aromatics. They are based in Ireland. This one is patchouli, because I really want that smell of hippie clothes store from my sheepskin rug. Patchouli has a characteristic smell of old leather, so, you know, perfect. Let's go. We're going to do 4 drops. This is not scientific, but, you know, it's as close as we're getting on a Saturday afternoon. We've got 3 drops of sandalwood. That has that kind of sweet, distinctively incensey smell that I really want, and sandalwood also tends to, in particular, tends to live on your soft furnishings forever. I've got some myrrh oil because, you know, myrrh is freaking awesome. It was actually used, as far as I know, in preservation of some of the Egyptian kings, the mummies. It's been found in lots of the pyramids. And myrrh's best friend, frankincense, because if you are like me, oh, I'd camp out all night for that. Alright, so we've got some ylang ylang as well. So ylang ylang is traditionally thought to be an aphrodisiac. Just saying. Tea tree, so that I can rest easy in the thoughts that if there are any mites or any things surviving my felting and washing process on this rug, 1, 2, 3, then tea tree will do its best to kick their asses. Lavender oil, cause you know, it's a rug, it's meant to be calming and soothing, and that's just what lavender does. So. And last but not least, I've got rose organic. Now, oh my god, it's gonna smell delicious. We need our little toothpick to mix it up. Oh yeah, it almost smells like a very expensive perfume. So that is going to be delicious. The next thing we're going to do now is actually get out to the stove and melt this down, add that into it, see how it goes. I've managed to get it down to this sort of porridgey, doughy sort of consistency, and you know what, I'm just going to roll with it because I've been at this for over an hour now, so I think that's as liquid as it's getting without soaking. So here we go, we just add those essential oils in there. Okay, and that's already starting to smell better because it didn't smell terribly delicious before that. Oh, these look a lot more delicious than they should. It's taken all of my energy to not lick the spoon. Okay, so that's it. That's what we've got. And I'm going to store those in a cool, dry place overnight, and fingers crossed they'll be bars or something akin to soap bars that smell really nice tomorrow, and then we're going to come back and felt the rug. Okay, so here is my lovely frame made for me by this lovely Dave. It measures 1 meter by 1.5, and I'm hoping for the 2 fleeces that I'm using for this project that's going to be a good size to achieve a good felting effect and a good size product at the end. So I've got my bag of sheep's wool here behind me. I've got my little bar of soap that I left out last night. That has hardened quite nicely. It's not completely solid, but it's perfect for this project. And I've got my water bottle, which I'm going to use to keep refilling up with hot water, because hot water is what you need for wet felting. So the other bit that you're going to see me put on is this is just a small sample here of the pre-felt that I was recommended to use as a top layer in order to get the wool fibres to bind to it. So this will actually form the back of the rug when we're finished, and the beautiful Valais Blacknose sheep's wool fibres will be on the other side of what we call the top or the front. So I will get started. And envy was my jail. Instead of joining him, I wanted him to fail. He would joke and doff his crown and offer it around. Who was brave enough to step up, and he used argument and wit to challenge all the shit from those who thought that they knew best. He put it all to the test. 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 He put it all to the test.
Sidini en coulait miel à sous la peau. Savant tout comment c'est celle en mettant ça. Tout comment c'est celle qui sortit dans l'eau. Rivière qui t'a cherché, moi qu'à courir, préparer tes là. Si moi arrêté, moi qui disparaît. Savant tout comment c'est celle en mettant ça. Tout comment c'est celle qui sortit dans l'eau. On la rivière, petite à l'envers. On la rosée, formée à l'eau. Et pas arrêter là. On la rivière, petite à l'envers. C'est en l'eau la corps, moi v'lais danser. Mais c'est en l'eau la corps, la v'lais rester. Moi v'lais boire de l'eau et puis celle à sous la peau. Si t'ignis on coule miel à sous la peau. Savant tout comment c'est celle en mettant ça. Tout comment c'est celle qui sortit dans l'eau. Qu'on la rosée qui fait disparaître. Qu'on la rivière, qu'on la rivière. Tout comment c'est celle. Tout comment c'est celle.
show the camera your slash in the face.
I just got sheep water on my face. The joys. To kind of dry hanging. Now when I brought it inside it still wasn't completely dry, but as you can see it almost looks like a rug, so I'm very happy with it. I mean, some people might say it's over felted. I would probably say that it's just felted enough. I didn't want it to be super hairy and attracting lots of dirt and things like that. Now I don't know if I'm going to actually use it as a rug or if I might use it as a throw for the bottom of my bed, but either way I feel like, you know, it's made a really beautiful sort of picture of all of these lovely creams and ivories and beiges, and then you've got the spots of black going through it that give the Valais Blacknose their name. So I'm actually very happy with it, how the felting of the sheep's wool has gone. The problem is, as you can see, there are huge big loose flaps. There are entire sections of it that haven't connected with the pre-felt that I used as a backing. So there may be a number of reasons for this. If I was going to do this again, I would probably not take the shortcut, and I probably would use carded wool for the back of it. I would imagine that it would fuse together easier. My pre-felt was very sort of perfect, and to add to that, I didn't have the layer of wire mesh under my frame that a lot of the other people with frames in the tutorial videos had. So that might have in some way contributed to, you know, it not quite felting to the pre-felt. It has felted quite well to itself for wool that hadn't been properly washed and carded beforehand. So I'm actually very, very pleased with how it has turned out, but I'm not going to give up on it just yet. What I have decided to do now is, I saw some other people sort of securing theirs with yarn in the tutorial videos online, so I have decided to just spend an hour or two. I go around the edges because I think the edges are the worst part, and I mean, you know, I tried to put extra work into the edges to make sure that that wouldn't happen, but you know, I don't know, I think maybe I put too much wool in some places. I hadn't it spaced out, you know, evenly before I went, or maybe it was just the fact that I had no real clue what I was doing and very, very little experience at doing this. But it wouldn't put me off from trying again. I think maybe if I was going to do it again, I would make smaller pieces like I had originally intended, sort of, you know, blankets for your lap. I should also add that the smell of sheep's wool has been drastically reduced. So I'm going to get to work and get stitching, and I'll see you on the other side.
Casting off and casting on, needles click and heave away. He tries to flee. The chase is on, but it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him. You don't have to spin the bottle. I am the marked man. You know it's been ordained right from the start. Fall upon me, fall upon me. Blame me for the storm, tie me up and throw me to the sharks. Casting off and casting on, needles click and heave away. He tries to flee. The chase is on, but it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him.
Once I was a man of God, but I turned away when called upon to spread a holy word. He had plenty of politicians, prophets, priests, and pawns cursed me when I was preferred.
Casting off and casting on, needles click and heave away. He tries to flee. The chase is on, but it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch.
Okay, so that's about it for this one. I've had loads of fun making this rug. I would say all in all it took me a total of about 5 days working evenings and weekends, but I would definitely love to have another go at felting sheep's wool at some point. I've always harboured secret dreams of felting myself a jacket made from same. So stay tuned for more of that. Hit subscribe for more fun and witchy adventures. Best of luck to you, agus slán a bhaile.
The chase is on, but it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him, it'll catch him. Casting off.